so what they'd done is that, so it was the so basically what my mother is saying is that it was the South African side as well as the Namibian side that colluded to have this death happen. Yeah. Because the South African side had been monitoring him for, I don't know how many months prior to his death. And what was planned was that they'd set up a roadblock on the way to the airport. Was it the following day, the 13th? And Donald Atchison was caught at that roadblock. However, his car was searched, and he was meant to have had the weapon on him, which he didn't. So he'd got, I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously don't know the details, but the thing is, when they caught him at that roadblock, they had nothing to incriminate him with. So he had no weapons, he had nothing on him. But that was all orchestrated in such a way that if it had worked, he would have been caught with a gun, with an AK-47, he would have been charged with criminal charges, and then he would have been in the court case. He killed Anton Lubowski, and the whole case would have been over, and that's the end of it. It was a political murder at the end. But that didn't happen, so they couldn't put Donald Atchison behind bars, and they couldn't basically carry on with the plan that they'd had. So that derailed the whole thing to the point that no one could be brought to justice for his murder. And then there was obviously the CCB story, which those 5 members of the CCB that were involved. When the TRC in-camera transcripts were released through the South African, the SAHA, we read multiple transcripts. And what transpired in those transcripts was what was happening during apartheid. The CCB was only put together to create chaos. So all sorts of chaos that needed to happen so that people were in trauma, people were upset. The things that Dr. Wouter Passon did are all absolutely inhumane, crazy things that happened to the apartheid system that basically was just created to cause this chaos. So the CCB was also involved to create that chaos during the independence process. That's why my mother had said his death was also meant to just create that chaos, but actually because of who he was and that complete shock that transcended on the country is what I think had that civil war that could have erupted, die down. But basically, the time of that apartheid period where independence was being fought for, the amount of things that happened.